Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us here for King County's Fall 2015 Employee Town Hall. I'm Natasha Jones, Director of Customer Service for King County Executive Constantine. Our topic today is a mouthful, so let me tell you what it is. Changing the way we recruit, develop, support, and empower employees to help us become the best run government in the nation. So no pressure there. Joining us today to talk about this topic is three great folks here. I'm going to start with Executive Constantine, which you all should know. King County Executive Dow Constantine, you're in the middle of your second term. Thank you for joining us for this. Nancy Bonanno-Grinnan is the Director of our Human Resources Division, and this is kind of your second tour of duty at King County. You were at Kitsap County before this, and you were with us before that as the Labor Relations Manager, so welcome back.
Thank you.
And our final person here on the panel is Scott Welch, who is the Global Corporate Relations Manager for Columbia Sportswear down in Portland. I'm going to give you a little bit of background on Scott because he's kind of new to us. He directs the Global Corporate Relations Program for Columbia, and they have about 4,300 employees. His role includes managing all of their nonprofit partnerships, developing seasonal cause marketing campaigns, coordinating all of their internal communications, and overseeing their philanthropic programs within the Columbia family of sportswear brands. So thank you also for making the drive up to join us today.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to start with you, Executive Constantine. So back in 2014, you announced this pretty ambitious goal to make King County the best run government in the nation. The first question is clearly, what were you thinking?
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. Why was that a priority for you?
Well, you'll remember, and many of our employees will remember, that when I came into office, we were in the depths of a recession, and our costs were growing quite dramatically faster than our revenues. And so we set about, as our main job at that time, to reform old inefficient practices, to put the county back on sound financial footing so we could continue to deliver services in a time of financial constraint, and to restore public trust. And together we have succeeded in that. And as our reform agenda, as we call that, has continued to evolve, it was really just all around trying to figure out how we could do the best job possible. And around 2014, that got distilled down to the notion of becoming the best run government. Now, why best run government? Because it's not very aspirational to become the second best run government, right? You know, I mean, if you're going to set a goal, it might as well be to be the best. That doesn't mean perfection, because that is an unrealistic goal. And in fact, we don't want to demand perfection. We want people to take some risks in order to create positive change. Sometimes risks pay off. Sometimes those risks allow us to learn a lesson that will benefit us in the future. But the way you create a best run government, the way you do your best job, is by embracing continuous improvement, by engaging our employees to be able to innovate and supporting them in that, and by creating a workplace culture where our employees feel valued. They feel that their contributions broadly are valued by their coworkers, by their managers, by the people of King County. You can't do any of this, of course, without employees. They are the key, you are the key, you in this room, to making all of this work. You're the ones on the front lines, you're the ones who know how to deliver the services you've been charged with delivering, and very importantly to this conversation, you're the ones who can identify what could be done better. Through your experience and your creativity, you can help us make this government the best run. So every so often folks stop me out here in the halls of the Chinook building, or I'll talk with people when I'm doing one of my walk in the shoes of the county employee visits. And employees will tell me excitedly about some change that they've been able to make in their workplace, in the processes, in the way in which we're delivering for the people of King County. And we want that to be the universal experience for our employees. That whether you're a bus driver, you're working at a public health clinic, whether you're working at the jail or in the executive's office, that you are free and you are encouraged to bring your creativity to the job with you every day and to help us become better at doing what we do.
Excellent. All right, and I'm going to kind of piggyback on that a little bit and turn to Nancy, because as Executive Constantine kind of alluded to, we've undertaken this really big initiative here, Best Run Government, and a big piece of that is Best Run Government employees. I don't know if that's trademarked or anything yet. We'll work on that.
We will work on that.
Yeah, there's kind of 4 goals though with that to make this happen. So one is making King County this workplace where people want to come to work, and for the people who are already here working, we want them to stay and grow their skills and become stronger at whatever it is that they do. We also want to enable people to come here and really do interesting work, to really achieve something new and exciting and different. And that is possible, contrary to popular belief. You can do that in county government. And we really want them to excel at their work. So how are we going to make that a reality? Because that has not been, I would say, it's safe to say, it has not been our history. That has not always been our approach here. How is Best Run Government employees going to get us there?
Before I talk about what we're doing to make that a reality, I'm going to turn to Cameron over there to show us a short video that talks about how we've made some changes over the course of time.
King County is the most populous county in Washington and the 13th most populous in the United States. More than 2 million people call King County home. We're the economic engine for the state. And we're changing. In 1970, the population was 1.2 million. Only 8% of residents were people of color, and less than half of women worked outside of the home. King County employed almost 3,000 people. We used typewriters, the electronic calculator had just been invented, and email was almost 20 years away. 45 years later, our population has almost doubled. We've become more diverse, and now 2/3 of women are working. King County government has also changed. We have more than 13,000 employees, most of whom are represented by a union. Our employees are proud to serve the public. We are more diverse than the available workforce, but less diverse than the community we serve, and even less diverse at the higher end of the pay scale. We are older than the average U.S. employer, and each year, more employees become eligible to retire. As these employees begin to retire, we need to develop our current employees, retain our older, experienced employees by giving them continuing opportunities to grow, providing options like phased-in retirement to ensure knowledge transfer. We also need to recruit the next generation of county employees that will eventually take their place. They're younger and more diverse. 1/3 were born outside the United States, and for many, English isn't their first language. They expect different things out of employment, and they have different goals and experiences. To recruit and retain them, we need to change our strategy. Offer employment experiences that match their goals, and highlight what makes us different, because at King County, our diversity makes us stronger. New ideas move us forward, and we serve our residents better when we understand them better. The needs of our residents are changing, and we're changing to meet those needs. King County, we listen, we improve, we deliver.
So don't you want to work there?
Yes. Where do I apply?
Well, we are working on getting a new NeoGov replacement so that
Yay.
when you do apply, it's less clunky. What the video didn't mention is that our basic employment structure was set forth in 1969, largely perfected in 1972, and every change that we've made since then have been in reaction to state or federal law changes, or because we've been sued and had big class action lawsuits. So not proactively looking at what do our employees need, both now and in the future. And as the video pointed out the demographics of who we're recruiting, what they want out of an employment experience isn't necessarily what we put in place in 1972. So in answer to your question, to be the best run government, what we've heard from that big, hairy, audacious goal is really to create a work environment for employees to thrive. So they can do their best every day, that they know their value, that their work is valuable, that they have opportunities to learn and grow, and ultimately they can bring their true, authentic selves to work and not hide behind a mask or facade. So that's what we're aiming for. And we've got 4 big initiatives under that Best Run Government Employees that will soon be trademarked. So first, we want to improve our recruitment, hiring, onboarding, and promotional practices so that we can attract and retain a workforce that is as diverse at all levels as the communities we serve. Second, as Natasha pointed out, we want to ensure employees have clear pathways up and across the organization and learning paths to get through those different pathways. We need to improve our employee communication about that, and so that they can understand how and what decisions have been made and ultimately have some input into those. All of that will help employees feel more connected to the organization and ultimately more engaged, so that they will use their every ounce of discretionary intellect when they come up to work. Third, and this is a big, beefy one that's starting in October, is our Office of Labor Relations and the Coalition of County Unions are going to be developing a total compensation package. It's really looking at how we reward, what's our reward package, what are all the terms of compensation, base wages, leaves. What we know right now is we have a very rich compensation package. We need to make sure it's predictable and sustainable, but it doesn't give us choice. So what I wanted at 22, I may not want at 52. But those of us, depending upon where we are in our life cycle, we don't have choices about that. And then finally, the last big effort is those of us who are behind the scenes as your friendly HR, systems bureaucrats, we need to work better to have a more seamless employee support system. So we're using lean tools and techniques and using an ESG lens to better improve that process. The very first step for employees, though, is to fill out and participate in the All-Employee Survey. That is launching September 14th, both in paper and in email. And we really want to hear from you. We want to know how you perceive and experience King County employment now so that we can do better by you. And those employees who are represented by the Coalition of County Unions will be receiving a total compensation survey in October. So again, make your voices heard so that we can improve the work experience.
And the input from the survey will be used to kind of fine-tune all of the work that we're doing.
Absolutely.
Okay.